Hi, my name's Robin. I am a stay-at-home mom of 4 boys, all under the age of 4, 2 who are on the autism spectrum. And I wanted to go over how I got both of them Wonderfold wagons covered through insurance, specifically Medicaid in Florida, and how I went about the process, because it's not as simple as just getting a prescription and sending it into the insurance like you normally would. When I did it for my first son, it was in 2022, and it was 2021 to 2022 because it took me almost a whole year to get it covered. He was actually one of the first kids in the state of Florida to receive a wagon covered through Medicaid. He got denied the first time, and we had to do an appeal because Babies on Broadway, which is the company we got the wagons through, was an out-of-network provider, which is a lot of the reason people are not able to get them covered, is because they're told that they're denied because they're out-of-network and they stop there. But if you first of all, I would do all the paperwork process, like gathering of the paperwork before you even go to Baby on Broadway to put in the document. What I did was I got the prescription, which I can actually email a Google Drive of all the stuff that I sent in. I got the prescription for a medical ambulatory device. I have a speech impediment myself, so it makes it hard to say some of the medical terms sometimes, but it's okay. I also typed out my own letter of medical necessity. Like, I got some template. I don't even remember, it's been so long, but I got some template and I just filled it out on why I feel like the kids needed, or Dustin at the time, he's the oldest one, he got his first, why he needed the wagon. And then what I did was I sent it to, I made it the same exact way a doctor would, and I sent it to his occupational therapist, his if your child has physical therapy, mine has I sent it to an occupational therapist, the speech therapist, which I know it's not really a speech thing, but still, you want all the documentation you can, because the more documentation, the more they see your kid needs it, I guess. I don't know. I go overboard on the documentation, but OT, speech, if they have physical therapy, he doesn't at the time. We live in an area in Florida that doesn't have any kind of in-home therapies, and so it makes it hard for us to have therapy resources out here, because all of the therapy centers are 30 minutes to an hour away, and some of those are not good. But any kind of therapies your child's in, if ABA is something that you want to, if ABA is something your kid is in at that time, any therapist that will give you documentation. I even had the developmental therapist from Early Steps. Early Steps can give you documentation too. Anybody that can sign that letter of medical necessity and add any details to that letter is what you need. I also took that same letter after I got some therapists to sign it, or do their own version of it. But it was basically just me validating why I felt like my child needed it. I took it to any specialist. We took it to neuro. We took it to the neuropsychologist. We took it to GI because of Dustin having pica. It got signed by GI. And then after I got the specialist, any specialist that you think would sign it, I would just ask them, hey, shoot them an email. It can't hurt to get any kind of documentation that you need. If they don't need it, then they don't need it. But I got told that the main reason people get denied is because they don't have enough verifying documentation. Like just a doctor's prescription and their letter of medical necessity is not enough. You need extreme documentation. So then after I got all my letter of medical necessities I needed, I went back to the pediatrician and I said that we needed to send it off. You know, I got all these, can we send it off? With your letter of medical necessity, of course. Like, get your primary care, of course. And then when I did it, I had to call every DME in the state of Florida, which was covered underneath our insurance, which was 33 different DME people. And I had to get them all to tell me no, that it was not covered, which do with that what you will if you want to say it. They're not covered in the state of Florida. So then once I got them to tell me no, that it would not be covered, like nobody in the state of Florida had it, none of the DMEs was going to do it, then I asked the doctor for an out-of-network extension. That is what you need, an out-of-network extension for babies on Broadway, specifically babies on Broadway. And then after you get all that, and I kept all the documentation to send. I just kept an extra copy. And once I got it all, and once the doctor sent it off the insurance, I also sent it off again. Because sometimes these people don't get these things. And sometimes you just gotta double, triple check your work. I'm not saying email Baby on Broadway a million times, but email them all your documents. Not them personally, but like insurance. Make sure your case manager gets everything, anything and everything. Make sure they receive it. Then you could go on to the Babies on Broadway website and go to the medical ambulatory part of it and fill that out. And then they will call you. It says between 14 business days, and they're really awesome. They really are. My first time, it took a long time, but a lot of it was because of the documentation and it going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So with that, once we did all that, it was just up to the insurance, really. And like I said, we did get it denied the first time due to not having on the paper it said out of network. That's all, like denied because of out of network. So that right there deemed for us to get an out of network extension, which you can already do because you know it's out of network. So when you go in, ask your doctor for a prescription and get your letter of medical necessity from everyone, and ask for the out of network extension. And that's everything I did for both boys. The second time definitely took a lot less time because I knew what I was doing. But I would be grateful to email any of y'all any of the information I have. Of course, I'm gonna black out my kids' information and everything like that. But anything that I could do to help y'all get the wagon covered through insurance for y'all's child, I would love to help. It is a definite process, and nobody can guarantee that you're going to get covered because, let's face it, Medicaid is Medicaid. But it's definitely worth it. It's worth a try. So I hope that this video helps, and I hope that you're able to get your kid the wagon because they are life-changing. And it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. But if you have any questions at all, please feel free to message me. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I'm on them all. And I'd be glad to help. I hope y'all have a great day.